So I just realized that in Rudy Johnson's opening line in Video Days, he nose manuals one of these benches in front of one of these trees, and then he does a 1 foot off of this curb cut right here, which is incidentally the same curb cut that Jason Lee, in his Video Days part, does a 360 ollie off of. Then Rudy pushes across Figueroa, ollies up this curb, ollies up the 4 stairs, to frontside board slide shove it on one of those square brass handrails that fronts this low jewel box-like building between these 2 twin towers that constitute the Arco Center, built in 1972 by A.C. Martin and Associates. So Arco was formed in the mid-1960s with the merger of the West Coast Richfield Oil Company with the East Coast Atlantic Refining Company, thus forming Arco. The Richfield Company actually had a building on this site. There was this beautiful 1928 Art Deco black and gold building. That color scheme was actually symbolic because, you know, oil was black and you made wealth from it, symbolized by gold. And even though people loved that building and it really was a masterpiece of Art Deco, they had to tear it down because the company simply got too large. So to commemorate this merger and to assert their presence in downtown Los Angeles, Arco hired A.C. Martin and Associates to design these 2 twin towers that are set back into this plaza. And this plaza, as you can see, has been carved into the hillside between Figueroa and Flower Streets. And these 2 twin towers, although they're half the height of Manhattan's World Trade Center, which was completed around the same time that these buildings were built, serve the same purpose that the World Trade Center did in Manhattan. And weirdly, both the World Trade Center and Arco had amazing skate spots. But in the case of Arco, one of the main draws of this place as a skate spot, to say nothing of the handrails, is this perfect flat ground with this flame-treated greenish-gray granite. And then you notice it's the exact same type of granite that lines the front of these buildings. It's just polished in that case. Because this entire site is built into a hillside, it means that you actually have a variety of different stair and rail lengths on either side of these buildings. So here you have an 8 stair, there you have a 9 stair, and then these 2 handrails below are 17 stairs. So for example, when Arto Sari lip slides both of these rails, he's lip sliding an 8 stair and then a 17 stair to land in the lower level. One of the sickest things about this spot is you really start to see people skating these rails at the time when rail chompers are looking for bigger and better, gnarlier and gnarlier spots. So at the late 90s and early 2000s. And the majority of those really gnarly rail parts are filmed in schoolyards or college campuses. But what makes Arco so rad is that you are very obviously skating on private property, dealing with security and dealing with traffic and foot traffic and all of the things that make LA such a gnarly destination for skateboarding. These are not schoolyard rails. This is like a corporate plaza that just happens to have perfect square handrails. So these handrails here are aluminum painted to look like burnished bronze. And these handrails here, the handrails that actually get the most contact, are bronze. And they've currently been polished to shine like gold. If you look at old videos and you see like, you know, when Eric Koston does a nollie backside nose blunt in Yeah Right, for example, all of the rails are a much darker brown. But I guess the current tenant of this building has decided to polish these so that they look like gold. So in a weird way, Arco and now the current tenants like City National Bank, they're continuing that tradition of creating an architectural metaphor in terms of color and materials that matches with the ideas that they want you to think of. Wealth, prestige, opulence. The towering size of these buildings is supposed to make you feel puny, but if you have business to do in this complex, you probably feel exalted. And if you were to compare this not only to like the World Trade Center, but also to a spot in San Francisco like Black Rock, they're very similar buildings. Arco Plaza has a sort of signature artwork that's in the middle of the plaza. In the case of Arco, it's this double spiral staircase floating above a fountain titled Double Ascension. In the case of Black Rock, it's literally the black rock that Keith Hufnagel does a backside kickflip on. Both of them also have this like slightly rough but smooth flat ground of flame-treated granite as their ground surface. And I just wanted to point out this weird, creepy vent system here where you have what looks like these ancient pillars that, you might find in the bottom of some subterranean tomb. It's a totally romantic conceit. You know how people pay $350 for some jeans from Ralph Lauren that have rips and tears in them? It's like, this is like, fuck you ruggedness. This is the sort of stuff that like only very, very wealthy people can afford. Video Days established this as one of the many famous, amazing skate spots that you could skate if you went to downtown LA. So if you visit City National Bank Plaza, which is what Arco became now, you'll notice that those handrails that everyone skated, the long ones and the short ones, are no longer there. They quite literally got destroyed by the skateboarders who were skating it. Brass grinds and slides really well, but it's also relatively soft. So eventually, these handrails, which were installed for the safety of people going up and down the stairs, probably became a hazard in and of themselves because of all of the decades worth of skateboarding's destruction that these handrails endured. So they've been taken out, and the handrails that remain got polished. So despite the fact that the rails are no longer here, people are still skating this as a spot, as a really gnarly spot. These kinds of surfaces and this type of space will continue to beckon skateboarders who find themselves in downtown LA. This is a great looking spot, and it will probably always offer something for someone.